So, we hear a lot about Israel being told you need to be sending in aid into Gaza, and Israel's not doing enough. And Israel keeps saying, we're allowing for aid to come in, even though it's highly questionable that they should be doing that or be asked to do that, to provide aid to an enemy territory. Have you ever heard of such a thing in the history of warfare? But either way, they say, fine, we're doing that, but Hamas keeps stealing the aid that we provide. Food aid, medical aid, all of that. And there's now been a report that almost 100 Gaza food aid lorries have been violently looted. And this is BBC News reporting it. But who says this? It's not Israel that's saying it. It's a UN agency. Okay? They're now saying this. A convoy of 109 UN aid lorries carrying food was violently looted in Gaza on Saturday, the UN agency UNRWA says. UNRWA, by the way, an evil organisation which has high complicity with Hamas. 97 of the lorries were lost and their drivers were forced at gunpoint to unload their aid after passing through the Israeli-controlled Kerem Shalom crossing with southern Gaza in what is believed to have been one of the worst incidents of its kind. Now let's also understand that it says here that they were forced at gunpoint to unload. I've no doubt that there's so many cases like this that just haven't been documented. But it's very hard to avoid documenting this when 100 lorries were violently looted in one go. A convoy of 109. But here's where it gets even more disturbing, sinister. Okay? This is the UN, okay, a spokesperson, who has asked, well, you know what, let me just play the clip to you because someone asked him about this.
So far, you don't know who looted those.
As again, you know, when people, armed people, try to take control of a vehicle and goods, we're not asking questions and they're not wearing insignias.
Do you know how many of those? Because
I
we're
do not,
talking about 98 trucks.
I do not have that kind of granular detail right now.
So far, you don't.
So we don't know, and I think we all know who it is. It's Hamas, and this kind of rush to condemn Israel that we see in the UN and the media and all that for often lies. And meanwhile, when Israel keeps saying basic things like this, Hamas is stealing the aid and all that, they turn the other way or aren't prepared to actually investigate. It tells you all you need to know, doesn't it? It's time that Israel stops dancing to the tunes of these kind of organizations and those telling Israel to be doing things that help her enemy and actually elongate the war process. Because the more you're doing things to aid your enemy and ignore the evil that they're committing and problems like this of aid being stolen, the more the war festers and continues. And that's part of the problem that Israel's been having to deal with, where they're having to deal with a leadership in the UN and America that tries to play off both sides and, you know, tries to be in the middle. There is no being in the middle for this kind of thing. You stay in the middle of a highway and you get hit by both sides. The way to have total victory is by saying we want one side to win and the other side to lose. That's how it ended in basically any other war where you had a decisive end. That's how it works. So I think we can see that with the new incoming American administration, whatever it is that you may think of the leadership and the President-elect Trump, whatever your views of him, and I know there'll be a variety of views on this channel for people who are deeply supportive of Israel. But one can't deny that when he says on day one he's going to remove any limits at all that exist to providing funds to Israel, one can't deny that kind of approach is the approach that wins wars. We're seeing too much of an approach of saying we've just got to, try to calm things down, de-escalate. That just means kicking the can down the road, allowing the war to keep going, and then you have a generation that only knows war on both sides, which actually foments problems. It's the short-sightedness that we keep having here. President-elect Trump has said, his first promise to Israel, on my first day in office, I will cancel all restrictions and delays on the transfer of armaments and combat equipment. We saw recently that Prime Minister Netanyahu admitted, now that President-elect Trump has been elected, he now said on the record to the Knesset that the Biden-Harris administration told him, if you go into Rafah, you'll be on your own. He's thinking, I've got to go into Rafah to deal with the Hamas battalions and hostages and all of that. And he says, this is absurd. And he said to President Biden, we will go in either way. And he says that Biden and Blinken and others said, well, if you do that, you're on your own. Unbelievable. They claim that there'll be mass non-combatant casualties. Even if there was, by the way, that would not be Israel's fault. Israel's fighting an enemy aggressor, genocidal aggressor. They have every right to get rid of the threat. But it turned out there was actually hardly any non-combatant casualties. And Netanyahu was vindicated. And again, this is the problem of having people that are trying, an American leadership that's trying to dance to both sides and can't really make their minds up and maybe is playing politics a little bit. It's no way to play with people's lives and to fight a war like that. The way you want to fight a war is comprehensively, decisively, and as quickly as possible as well. Again, for both sides. And so Trump has said, President-elect Trump, his team have said that they want the war to end. Absolutely. We all want the war to end, but he said with decisive victory. He wants a swift, decisive victory. And it turns out, by the way, that that's what Jewish morality teaches, that a war should be fought comprehensively, decisively, and quickly. If you've made it so far in this video, I have a request for you. JTV has been having a really big impact in spreading the truth about Israel and creating positive associations with the Jewish people, Judaism, and Israel. We've really grown a lot, particularly in the last year, and we're having a really significant impact, both for Jews and non-Jews. But I really want to take JTV to the next level so we can start to compete with the other big online media beasts that are often peddling anti-Israel content. And the way we're going to do that is to scale even faster. So I'd love to build a team where we have other presenters doing shows like me. Let's start doing documentaries, supplementary content, animated content, etc., etc. And to do that, I'd like to build a bit of a team. So what we're going to do is we're going to do one fundraising day, just one, where we try and build up some funding in order to fund such a team. Now, to do that, it's going to obviously require people to get involved. And I'm wondering if you would consider, if you're watching JTV content and appreciate what we do and want to help partner with us in taking this to the next level and spreading the truth farther and wider than ever before, I wonder if you'd consider partnering with us simply by running a mini page on the fundraiser that we do, where you just reach out to your contacts on that day that we choose to fundraise and see if they'll all chip in. If you'd be up for doing that, of which I would be so grateful, then please click on the Google form link in the video description of this video, where you can simply just put in a few contact details. It'll be a very small commitment, as I say, literally just one day that we'll all agree upon as a collective community. But the impact is going to be so big. There's such strength in numbers. If we all pull together and do this, we can take this to the next level. And as I say, all of us can partner together in bringing and spreading the truth to the whole world. So please do consider clicking on that link, filling in the form, and I'll be in touch very soon to talk about the next steps. Small commitment, but a big impact. Hi, thank you so much for watching. To watch another one, click here. To stay up to date with all our content, click here to subscribe. And if you're able to, you can help support JTV to grow and grow by clicking join below this video, where you can become a member and get perks including early access to videos and private live discussions with me. But most of all, you'll be partnering with us on our mission to change the world.